What up, Wefobz Nation? Welcome back to the Stream Surge with your boy Guy So Smooth. It is actually a Thursday morning where I am, so good morning to everybody out there. And if it's whatever time of the day you got going, I'm gonna say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, probably even good night on this Thursday. I don't even think it's night. It may be night, but it may be another day wherever you are. Some people are probably a day ahead. But here we are, fourth show on the go, and it is the freaking hype just keeps building. We want to thank all of you for always tuning in with us and showing love right here on the Wefobz channel with everyone from YouTube to Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Street, X, you name it. We want to thank you all for tuning in. So, what do we got lined up for today? Today's lineup, we're gonna review the news again, and then we got, if you haven't seen our title, we got something we're gonna keep with the theme of being in the South Pacific and looking at ancient megalithic sites and stuff, because like we said, we're so into it. Last time we were talking about Roblox and that whole controversy they had with pedophiles. This also ties into that in a little way. But if you didn't watch our previous episodes, make sure to look for them on our channel. Without further ado, we should be tuning in to our major newscast provider, and that is X itself, the X platform. Yes, yes, yes. We are going to see what's going on. And for those of you who don't understand or don't know what the Wefobz Stream Surge is, once again, we're going to tell you, if you're new in town, Wefobz Stream Surge is our way of connecting to the updated news, both here in the United States and around the world. We want to make sure we keep our eyes and ears glued to whatever is happening currently in present day, because it's good information to help out with our futures. And if it's not good information for you, well, if it's boring information, you should understand it could be made into entertainment as well. Yeah, we provide you the info in an entertaining style and fashion here at the Wefobz Stream Surge. So, why don't we figure this out? As always, we go into what's trending. Ooh, and already right off the top of the bat, looks like we got something cool here. And speaking of which, I better be careful with all the freaking sound sound bites in here. Kind of got freaking copyright warned on our previous videos. I should have known better, but it is what it is. This movie's coming out. Not really I'm not sponsored by it or anything. But right now, this is trending. They probably paid a bunch of big bucks to get it up there. Nobody 2. I can actually say personally, I really like Nobody 1. It was pretty hardcore, and I like the story. I like where they went with that movie, and I'm actually looking forward to watching this one. Might not take the kids because it's rated R, but you know, it's gonna be a good time out for a weekend. In theaters, I guess now. They're showing it now. Nobody 2. Remember, disclaimer, not sponsored by anyone. I just believe it's a good movie. Well, part 1 was a good movie, and part 2 is looking pretty hot. So what's in today's news? Today's news, we have Trump seizes control of DC police, deploys the National Guard. Still, Trump is on his agenda to try to clean up the streets of DC of all the crime that people are complaining about. And furthermore into the story, because we did discuss it yesterday, he's now sending out the National Guard to do this, to do what he wants, to to end crime in DC or even bring crime down. There was this whole discussion on X about where we deploy National Guard, and I think in somebody in Congress is trying to deploy National Guard freaking out of state. Now you got to understand that the National Guard was written into the Constitution to remain in the states. They are for the protection of the states. And I wonder, I was just seeing on X in browsing before we started, and I'm trying to figure out, man, I would like to later on find out which Congress member was trying to deploy the National Guard out of state, or was it Trump himself? You know, if you want to dive deeper into that, you could do your own research into it and figure it out. But yeah, 2 days in a row, this news has been going on. Trump's been there in 2 days. And oh my gosh, Taylor Swift makes the news again for the third day in a row while we're doing this show. She's probably been in here for a week or so, but she, I see why she's making the news now. She's got her Life of Showgirl release, a new album release. And so the way these big time musicians and their labels play this game, I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift right now is independent. But the way they play the game is they pay up big bucks to make sure that their name and whatever they're doing is making the headlines, or they do big all out events so the media could take a hold of it. And as we've said before, Taylor Swift definitely knows what she's doing because her news is getting out there. It's no joke that she has millions of fans too that tune into what she wants to put out. Ooh, yesterday we did have news on Schiff, and it's getting worse for the guy. Adam Schiff faces investigation over classified information leaks. So now they're literally, they did put out there that they were going to investigate him. He's a member of Congress, a Democratic member of Congress. Now they are investigating him. Right? Is that what they mean? Faces investigation? Before yesterday, we also said that it's not looking too good for him. I would like to see him behind bars. The Trump administration, you talk a lot of talk about pointing, exposing people. That's cool. You exposed them, but you haven't arrested anyone of note as of yet from what all the evidence you guys have gathered. So your boy Guy So Smooth would like to see some arrests being made. Let's see some people locked up for their crimes, right? Moving on. The Social Security Act is trending in the United States. Probably Congress is trying to mess with it, or Trump is trying to mess with it. That's tough. You mess with Social Security, you're gonna lose your voter base. So a lot of politicians walk the fine line when they're dealing with Social Security. There's people. It's a 50-50 issue if you think about it. There's people who love it, and there's people who don't. But it's been set in place for years and years. I'm here checking my messages. Somebody's just dropping me messages. What the hell is going on? All right. I see you. I see you. Let's get back to it. Ling Ling Kwang Kate Cartier event is trending for jewelry. All right. Nah, not into that. 14 ago. 14 ago is trending in the United States. I am curious about 14 ago. Aren't you? Let's see what this is. Hashtag 14 ago. Hashtag 14 ago. Let's zoom in on this. Ah, sorry guys. It's I have no idea. I don't read Spanish. Look Spanish. Looks like a race car. It's from Venezuela. Okay. That's interesting though that it's trending in the United States. Is what they're saying. Command 2. Yeah. Otani still trending right here. Shohei Otani still making the news, still trending. A lot of people talking about him on X. 30.6K posts. Wow, this guy's really making some. He's been in there just as long as Taylor Swift has been used and trending on X. As we said before, good on Otani, man. Make that money, bro. Make that money. Now we get into business. We're moving quick on this Wefobz stream session. Don't forget, you can tune in, chat with us live if you want. We're here for it. And let me see if I can. I need to fix something real quick, which is. Okay, there we go with that. Yeah, we'll transition this one up here. Actually, we'll just leave it there. And we can get back to interacting with our X. With the X. And see what this business news is. So BlackRock is in the news. Something about AI shaping the economy. That's why we now use. Oh. Never mind. This is an ad. Is this an ad? Megaforce is the new long-term anchor, BlackRock. What does that mean? It looks like BlackRock, of course, they're using AI for telling them how to invest or writing AI programs to help them invest better. That's probably what this is about. Moving on, what do we got here from The Economist? The summit with Vladimir Putin is the biggest test yet of Donald Trump's uniquely personal style of diplomacy. It is also a reminder of how unpredictable American foreign policy has become. And this is the picture that they're putting out. How to win at foreign policy. It's a gamble that Trump is making. Yep, literally it is a gamble. He's gambling big and trying to settle a dispute between two nations and nothing, well, it has stuff to do with the US, but at the same time, it's just, I'm of the thought that it's dumb we got into that war anyways. It was the US's fault for not trying to prevent that war in the first place. And this is, like I said, my personal opinion as Guys on Smooth. I put this on the previous administrations. But again, our catchphrase, it is what it is. The NASDAQ out here trying to look all cool with all the businesses. Lots of news in the business community right now about AI. If you're looking right here, you see it says empowering business in the age of AI. Artificial intelligence taking over, people. If it hasn't taken your job yet, just wait. Further on down the line, something artificial is going to take your job. How do you stay ahead of the trends? Learn how to work with the technology. Learn about the technology. Grab some friends to teach you about the technology. It's actually really simple to use. AI is one of those things that helps you with your problems and like whatever problem you got and you want it solved fast. AI is, think of it as the calculator to anything in life. That's what AI is. AI is only as useful as the person who's using it or who, who applies it. Why is Guys So Smooth saying this? Because business news right now, we're looking at it right now. BlackRock, freaking the NASDAQ, freaking, they're all getting, they're not getting into AI, artificial intelligence. They're using AI. Yes, that should be some heads up for all of you who are in the business world. What's this one? Goldman's Goldman Sachs chief U.S. economist addresses Trump's criticism. Remember, yesterday we talked about how Trump criticized Goldman's chief, their U.S. economist, saying, "You talking some bullshit." So I guess they responded and they said, "We stand by the results of our study." And their study was saying that the tariffs are not working, or the tariffs are having a negative impact on the United States economy. And Trump didn't like that. So Trump fired back yesterday. He said, you need to get your facts straight or just shut up." And then these guys are coming out with a statement, and this is released earlier today. That's too funny. They're squabbling on X. Like I said, everybody is arguing against each other on X, and it's not filtered. You can't filter. You can't have a bias towards a Democratic view or a bias towards a Republican view, or even a bias towards like a third person. You just, as the person who's like, as us, the Wefobz Nation, you, me, watching this thing, we're just watching it as spectators, and you can laugh at it, you can cry at it, but hey, you get the information straight and in your face, unfiltered. Ooh, so they're saying the Fed right here, Bespoke, these people on Bespoke or this page or this company, they are saying September rate cut odds. People are betting that there's going to be a September rate cut coming up from the Fed. Remember Jerome Powell, we talked about yesterday, the guy who handles the Fed and is able to tell people how powerful your dollar is when you go use it at a store? These guys are saying that dude is most likely going to cut rates in September. If he does cut rates in September, that's actually going to be pretty cool. That's my birthday, me and my daughter's birthday, my mom's birthday. It's gonna be a freaking party in September, because when those rates come down, people are gonna have money in their pockets. You guys watch. Heed our words, Wefobz Nation. Guy So Smooth said it here. You can freaking clip that. Is that how you guys are saying it nowadays? Clip it. I'm saying it here. Those rates come down in September. It's gonna be a party in September all the way through to December, and it's looking good. But this is only on speculation. Speculation meaning these guys are making a guess. They're guessing based on all the data they gathered. But man, their guess is saying at 99.9%. It's like 100%. Like, where's the last 1%, Bespoke? You guys want to put that out there, but you're not talking about the last 1%. I'm not even going to say that. Sorry about that, where we should have. X is uncensored, like we said. Okay. Right side. Torrey Smith. Football's, I guess football's in. Season of football's up. That's why people are posting about football now. Chargers, nothing, a whole lot of nothing. Oh, 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 rated X content, rated X content. And this guy, yeah, I don't know. He's been hit with sexual harassment, lawsuits and stuff, and I think he lost. Pretty sure he did. Vince McMahon, former owner of WWE. Well, if you think about it, that's what we have for updated news. Not too much that's on the exciting side as of yet. What is exciting is maybe September, like that Bespoke page said, may have something in store for us in terms of people getting paid more or not. We will see. We will see. But if you didn't notice, this fourth show for Stream Surge here at Wefobz, we not only wanted to take a look at the latest Surge news, we're going to call the news surges. So in our case for the show, we'll call the latest surge. We also wanted to get into another topic that we are very interested in and connect a sort of theme that we got going with a story we are trying to tell with you all. And safe to say that this one is close to, it hits close to home because it's out here in the South Pacific. Yeah, it's just right across the ocean. If you think about it, that's not how they say it. But yeah, so we did a bit of research into it. We've known about it. We've talked to people about it also. It's one of the hobbies that we always follow. It's one of those things that you know about it from your very early ages. Most people, majority of people all over the world know about this place and know about, you know, the statues here. What are we referring to? There you go. Easter Island. So Easter Island is, maybe you may know about it, but do you know the paradox behind it? Behind this place. We want to discuss that paradox with you right here on the Wefobz stream, sir. So I hope you're ready, tuned in, because we got a lot to cover. And then when we're done, we'll ask questions together, formulate questions, and that'll be our discussion for the show. So let's get started. Easter Island is known as Rapa Nui to its indigenous people. It's in the South Pacific, and it's home to ancient megalithic statues. Okay, remember we were in the ancient megalithic over there at Nan Madol. They had the ancient megalithic structures built of all those volcanic stones. So here in Rapa Nui, here in Easter Island, you have similar, not same type of structure, but a similar kind of fate human nature going on. Something that humans did, if they are human at all. So one of the main things also that Nan Madol and Easter Island people are like hella surprised about. They're both like isolated places built by Polynesian cultures. Yay. And they feature massive stone structures that hint at advanced engineering and lost knowledge. So we're gonna go do a summary of what we found, a lot of stuff that we've talked about, a lot of stuff that is written, a lot of stuff that people have researched themselves, and then we want to share that with you. From the island origins to like the discoveries of the Moai statues, and all of that is just coming at you right here on the fourth show for Stream Search. And we hope I should get it back over here. We hope you're gonna tune in, because we want to make sure you're kept entertained. Don't tune out. That's all we're trying to say. Where are we? We brought that up already, so we're gonna bring up this one right here. Okay. So the origins of Easter Island and the Moai. Easter Island is a remote volcanic outpost in the South Pacific, was settled by Polynesian voyagers. Yeah. And they arrived via outrigger canoes. Okay. That's what it says here. That's the information I got going. Likely from the islands of Marquesas and Mangreva. And archaeological evidence points to initial inhabitation. Their initial habitations were I want to make sure the images are going where were we? So I'm just gonna summarize, guys. I'm reading here. They came on two hull outrigger canoes. Like, these canoes are built huge, and people thinking they came from, archaeologists think they came from this other island called Marquesas or Mangreva. and it's pointing that they traveled around 300 to 1200 AD. This was like about 1,000, 2,000 years ago, I think. And at the peak, when the island was hella hot, when it was really pumping, bumping at this island, they're saying there was about um there was a it was from like 800 to 600, 1600 CE. Now, if you look up CE, CE means common era. It's like the time after Christ. AD is the time during Christ, I believe. And then there's BC, which was before Christ. So make sure to take those into account. I don't even know if they use BC anymore. Anyhow, the Rapa Nui people were descendants of these settlers and began carving these iconic Moai statues that you see right here. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. And sometime they said they was carved like sometime after 1100 CE, and most of them were created between 1250 and 15,000 CE, 1500 CE. Kind of almost close. On like almost close to our timeline. And they were like, there's nearly 1,000 of them on Easter Island. Nearly 1,000 of these things. Oh, okay. Go back here. These are the pictures with them. And what they're also saying is, it talks about how the people, when they created these things, they kind of used up too many trees. They kind of stripped their land of the trees and the soil when they built these. This is this is the original archaeological belief, like the scientists, what they're thinking. And that is why it looks so barren. Like this island looks like it doesn't have no trees. Because the ancient people from that time just tore it all up. And when you tear trees up, the soil and everything goes up. And they have then you have what you call like a desert or a barren land. Don't see hardly any trees in these photos. Right? It's going back and forth over them. What else can I say about it? So the statues themselves, they're called moai, and they're believed to like represent their ancestors that have been deified, or they believe their ancestors become gods. They're like chiefs or high status individuals. That's why you see those big stones on top as like caps, look like crowns. And they turn into, when their ancestors pass away or they move on, they turn into guardians, spiritual guardians for their people, is what it says here. The Moai. Legends speak of like the arrival of their first king, Hotu Matua, and describe how he brought multiple tribes to the islands. And the statues may symbolize these lineages, right? That's what they're saying, the statues. Let's go back to those videos that we were on. I'll play that while we're still discussing. So they're saying something like Hotu Matua, the statues represent maybe their bloodlines. Yeah. Transition in. That's a comparison between a human and how big those statues are. And that's the legend that they talk about. Legend. They don't even call it a myth. They're calling it a legend. And you know why we're all into this? Because we're into it. Because these islands are 2,000 miles from any other island. So people got here. They traveled 2,000 miles, got here, planted themselves there, put a civilization together and then built these freaking huge statues. Look at that. And it was a small society. They were saying at least 15, at most, they're saying at the peak when it was really jumping in the island, 15,000 people, they said, did this. Over 1,000 statues, that big, that tall, that heavy. There's some theories they're putting out there that they walked the Moai using ropes and manpower, or they rode them on logs. But no one theory, it's not proven fact as of yet. It's not even, it's the mystery behind how these statues were built, how they were put in place. You know, just recently they talked about, like, long before the what do you call it, the settlers ever arrived on Rapa Nui. They were already, it was already looking like a desert. It was already looking like the people were, they were starving and stuff like that. There was hella soil erosion, famine, and societal breakdown. Like, they were having clan wars and stuff long before the Europeans came. And this was back in 1700s, the 1722, 1700. And this island itself is a story of, you know, human stupidness to not take care of the land and tear it up. And they think, they get into the whole, oh, you're a chief and I'm a chief, I'm going to be a chief, we're going to fight each other and stuff like that. What the researchers say, it's a cautionary tale of human hubris and resilience. Oh, I see. Though they did all that fighting, they're still alive. So it inspires everyone from explorers like Thor Heyerdahl to modern theorists pondering. People say it's ancient aliens or lost civilizations. Ooh, who knows? And yeah, just looking at these statues, you get a sense of awe. You get a sense of, like, damn, this is something freaking special here. Okay. Now, with that being said, did you know that there's a theory out there that says these statues are connected to the entire world? Like, people think it's just the Polynesian people, right? But there's a theory, there's an updated theory now that archaeologists are going through it, that's saying that whoever built this is most likely related or connected to the people on the other side of the world in the areas of Turkey, freaking Egypt. Can you believe that? Those are like more than 5,000 miles away from this area. So you're probably wondering, what the hell are you talking about, guys? So smooth, freaking. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. Here we go. Let's get with the slideshow. So, if you haven't noticed these statues, look at them on this slideshow. I'm showing you. Do you notice something about it? Look closely at the statues. Look closely at these photos. Look at the stone. And have you ever been anywhere around these types of rocks? I know I've been all around these rocks. There's a lot of them in the South Pacific, but wherever you are, do you know how you can tell, like, how old stone is just by looking at the wear and tear on the stone? These ones, I can honestly say that they've been restored. I saw a whole documentary, I think it was a History Channel, that they showed these Moai statues were put back up, and I guess their hats were painted the color that they were originally. So these ones are more restored, but referring to these ones, take a look at them. It's gonna get to the point where you're like, so what you trying to get at? What you trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at? They were saying this is like 1,000 to 2,000 year old. Like, people got here 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago to 2,000 years ago, and started making these statues. That's what the current mainstream belief is from scientists. Okay, look at them. Look carefully at them and look at the wear and tear on them. What I'm going to provide to you is like a theory that I I kind of follow. I've been following because it's one of those like, boom, we're connected to the world this way. Because everyone always says, ain't nobody from the side of, the biblical side of the world gonna make their way down to this area. They almost came like the Polynesian journey from Taiwan and stuff like that. But we're just gonna open up, how is it, like that whole, open up our minds to maybe there's something else. I don't know if you noticed, but in the back of this, the bigger statue right there, you see there's a face in the ground. That's a Moai statue still buried in the ground, not dug up yet. And if you look all the way down that other area, like the one that's facing, that's really tilted almost toward the nose. Okay. So where are you going with this? Where is Guys So Smooth going with this? We are going to discuss something. So there was recent findings, I think it was 2010 or 2000, where excavations uncovered that many moai aren't just their heads. Not just their heads, people. There is also moai have a body. They have an entire body underground. Let's see. Okay, go back. Look at it. So all we were seeing, like a lot of them, this was like 2010, 2000, around the early 2000s, they discovered this, or maybe even earlier than that. They dug deeper and they found, what the? There's even more underground, an entire body of the freaking Moai statue underground. Why is this relevant to what I'm trying to say, and how does it tie into like how is freaking Easter Island related to Egypt, Turkey, and all the old biblical places in ancient history? Well, on the back of these Moai statue, but on the back of the bodies of the Moai statue, they found what you call petroglyphs. Okay, and I think you saw when I cycled through it. These things, little symbols and drawings on the back of the Moai statues. If you want to know where I got these sources, you can, yeah, I posted up the websites right there. You can go directly to see where I grabbed them. These are organizations who study this stuff. Check this shit out. These were carved on the back of the bodies of the Moai statue. Remember, like we said, it was buried. You only saw the heads. Oh, actually, this is save this for later. But now, when you go straight down, you see all this other stuff. You see, like they have, it's like a belt. But then they're saying, so the archaeological studies and the scientists who are studying this stuff, they are saying like these petroglyphs, they represent, some of them look like they represent star maps. Some of them talk about a bird man or a bird god, a bird man who is a god. And it's funny because that bird man who is a god kind of thingy is talked about in all different ancient cultures all over the world. Many of which, as I said before, is over there in freaking the biblical areas of the world, down in the Middle East, and all around that side. So that's what people are saying with that. Doesn't it trip you out though? I mean, look at this. That's where the Easter Island paradox comes in. Everybody's saying, well, mainstream science is saying when they first found this stuff, they're saying it was only 1200, 2000 to 1200 years old. People, it was not that far back. And you're telling me that people who travel 2,000 miles to an island in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by ocean, 2,000 miles on all sides, They stripped everything. Like we said, it was the worst of the worst that could happen to these people out in Rapa Nui, aka Easter Island, where they stripped their island and stuff. You're telling me they built these things, buried the bodies in the ground, all on purpose, of up to 1,000 different statues. Uh, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute if one really thinks about it. Why doesn't it compute? You see, most of them look like they're not buried in the ground. They're just the tops, right? Like I said, you see those ones up back there. Those are restored moai. They Then you have these ones right here. They're buried in the ground. Why do these ones look old, very old? That's what I was trying to tell you. Look at the stone, and why are they still buried in the ground? And then you got these guys. It look like they're the newer versions. It looks like whoever carved them didn't carve them like these guys. You see the difference? Look at the ears of this Moai statue and compare it to the ears of this Moai statue. It looks like these Moai statues were carved more early, like closer to our time, and these ones look like they're way older, way older, like freaking thousands of years old, more than 2,000 years old. But scientists are saying, no, that can't be possible. These people reached here like the year of 2,000 years ago. That's what all the excavations, when they found the bones of some of the burials and stuff. But then you go into this kind of stuff where they have pictures on here, and then you come across something that's similar to an ancient megalithic site in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe. If you don't know about Göbekli Tepe, it is a site that has people were saying that scientists were saying for a long time there ain't no civilization beyond 4,000 years of human history. Like humans were advanced at 4,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe, you have stone megalithic structures there, or big ass stones that have pictures on them, and they carbon dated that shit to 12,000 years old, maybe even older. Meaning, it told the scientists, you bitches don't understand. Humans were more advanced, more more advanced back in the day, even earlier than you all thought. Not just 4,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe had people carving out these different symbols, like designs that scientists say you can only carve out if you're an advanced culture. And scientists only believe advanced cultures existed like 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe said in Turkey is saying, nah, we are much older, 12,000 years. Go back 12,000 years or even earlier. Like, what the fuck are you getting? If you're getting confused, oh shoot, excuse my French. This picture right here, where you see my avatar, is a petroglyph carving from Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, the ancient structure, megalithic structure over there. This picture on the left, or my right, screen left, my right, that's from the Moai over here in frickin' Easter Island. Look at the similarities. Look at how they are the same. They look very much the same. They got two. Remember that Birdman god I was telling you all about? They got a bird over here in Turkey. They got a bird over there in Easter Island. Then they got a ball. The bird is holding a ball right there. So there was this one dude, this one archaeologist. He came up with an idea for like the Göbekli Tepe, like this one exact. Uh, this carving saying that the bird represents, it's a calendar, trying to tell about a calendar He says it's a calendar of a time when a comet hit the Earth. Does that ring any bells for those of you who follow your biblical stories or those of you who follow science? The Big Bang Theory? You guys remember that stuff? Anybody? Anybody? You know? So he says that guy did a study. He said those birds, and then there's bags up top, kind of represent like a calendar count of stars or position of stars within the solar system. If you go um more into what they say with that, you'll there's a whole freaking documentary about it. There's whole YouTube videos about it, about Göbekli Tepe and the star maps and that calendar that this guy was talking about. And he says that's this calendar shows the time when um he says when freaking a comet hit the earth is what he was trying to say. And then you have over here in Easter Island, they have the same looking birds. It looks like that knowledge was passed on, and it, like I said, uh, not just 2,000, more than 5,000 miles away on the other side of the world. And they have that carving, which symbolizes this is alleged, well, not allegedly, this is just a theory that's been put out there, but it symbolizes when a comet had hit the earth. That is nuts. Hella nuts. Fred. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my mind on that one. If you're one of those uh nerds like me who are all into it, my buddy freaking Kenny calls me a nerd. This thing really makes me wonder, like, wow, is this our connection? Because I've always said, when I was in American Samoa, I've always said that there's probably archaeological sites in American Samoa and other Pacific islands that have ties to like Easter, like stuff like Easter Islands carvings right here. There's probably things hidden from our ancient ancestors that have ties to Egypt, that have ties to freaking Turkey, that have ties to the whole Middle East, not just the Asian continent, like where Taiwan and China is at. It connects the entire world. But as we said before, it all goes back to theories. It's all theories. It isn't really locked down facts. People are just talking about it in a sense that, yeah, Easter Island's still got unanswered questions out there. Don't even get me started on the supernatural stuff that they have going out there. And there was some shows that went out there. I think the Ghost Hunters went there to try to solve the mystery of a ghost that's out there in some cave out there. I myself want to go visit this place before I freaking kick the bucket. It's on one of my bucket lists. But look at this freaking those moai look freaking older than the other moai we watched on the photo slideshow I showed you guys. Easter Island. That's the Easter Island paradox. People say it's only like 1,200 years old, 2,000 years old. I'm over here trying to present to you, Wefobz Nation, that I believe, with all the recent findings that they got going and the connections between this place, Nan Madol, and the world, we've had advanced civilizations even older than that. And in our, from my culture, the Samoan culture, we always say that the people of the Pacific, we came from the islands. Everybody trying to tell us we got there in 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. But things like this can very well prove that it's been older. The problem though too is the mainstream archaeologists won't admit and they won't do continued studies. And if you try to study some more about it, like some people try to go study some more about it, they're like, no, 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 stay away. We already solved that. We already answered it. I mean, look. So these are restored ones too. These all were restored recently, again, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Easter Island, the paradox. Is it as old as they say it is, or are we missing something? The connection between this and the general world, the bigger world in general. We have more questions than answers. Hopefully one of you live on this island or are part of this culture. You guys know of your oral history and stuff. So, please forgive me if I'm intruding on, especially with the Nan Madol, out there in Micronesia, if I'm intruding on anything on your beliefs or anything like that. But I wanted to put that out there, keep an open mind. Maybe your ancestors are even older than what people are leading you to believe, or what the scientists are trying to tell you, or what mainstream science is trying to say. Have an open mind. Let's look into it further. It's one of our hobbies. As we say, we share our hobbies here, and one of our hobbies is looking into information like this. We don't plan, we're not meaning to step on any toes. Wefobz Nation, we're just very curious about our past. And our past is saying we're connected to all of you in more ways than one. And this is one of that. This is what it is. Well, we hope you enjoyed that segment right there of our Wefobz Stream Surge show. This has been our 4th show. Again, we want to thank all of you, whoever's tuning in with us tonight, today, in the morning, wherever you are, whatever time zone you may be. It don't matter to us, but definitely thank you for coming along on the show. These are the hobbies that we want to explore. These are the topics we want to look at, in addition to the current news. Well, we feel it's about that time. Your boy Guy So Smooth telling you, get out there, touch some grass, drink water, exercise, be happy, don't worry, and make sure you're living your life I would say to the fullest, but some people don't live their life to the fullest. Some people just live their life. I ain't gonna clown on you. You do what you want to do. It is what it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's gonna be it for us right here. Thank you for coming along. This is Guy So Smooth signing out. Wefobz. Oh man, my voice is so, man, I don't think you say it like that. It's gotta go Wefobz.